Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into the ever-shifting world of cybersecurity. It's always moving, always adapting.
It really is.
We've pulled together a pretty comprehensive report here from a leading cybersecurity news outlet. It paints a vivid picture, urgent alerts, evolving national strategies, and some cunning new tactics from cybercriminals.
Yeah, there's a lot happening all at once.
Right. So our mission, like always, is to cut through the noise, pull out the important bits, the nuggets of knowledge, and make sure you walk away informed, but hopefully not too bogged down in the technical jargon.
Let's do it.
So let's break this down.
Absolutely. And what's truly fascinating here is how these things that seem separate, like a super technical exploit over here and then geopolitical funding decisions over there, even criminal groups rebranding, they're all connected. They're threads in the same, bigger tapestry of digital security. So this deep dive, it isn't just about what is happening,
Right.
but digging into the why now, and, how it's going to impact things down the line.
Okay, let's kick things off then with something that definitely sent some shockwaves through IT departments, both corporate and government. A critical Microsoft zero-day flaw.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking CVE 2025-53700. Made headlines July 19th, and it got slapped with an incredibly high CVSS score, 9.8.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening, what does that score actually tell us?
Yeah.
And why is this specific vulnerability, the one they dubbed tool shell, why is it such a big deal?
Okay, so a 9.8 CVSS score, it's pretty much as bad as it gets. Critical severity. It basically means it's super easy for an attacker to exploit, and the impact is huge. Full system compromise is on the table.
Wow.
Think of it like a giant flashing red light.
Yeah.
Immediate danger. Now, what makes tool shell, which Code White GmbH identified particularly nasty, is that it's not just one bug. It's an exploit chain.
Okay.
Meaning it cleverly links together multiple weaknesses. It actually builds on earlier vulnerabilities, CVE 2025-49706 and CVE 2025-49704. And here's the kicker.
Uh-huh.
That first one, CVE 2025-49706, it was an authentication bypass that Microsoft had actually already patched.
Right, so it was fixed.
Supposedly fixed. But this new tool shell zero-day, it finds a way around that previous patch. It basically makes the original fix useless.
Oh, that's not good.
No. It's like, imagine you fix a broken lock on your door, but then a really smart thief finds a totally new way to get through the deadbolt a few weeks later, and you can't easily patch that.
Yeah.
And iSecurity found this actually being used out there in the wild on July 18th. It's just a day before Microsoft announced it publicly. Shows you how fast these things move.
So not just a new flaw, but like you said, a clever workaround for something they thought was already secured. It's that constant cat and mouse game.
Exactly.
For the companies actually using SharePoint, what could an attacker do with this tool shell chain? What's the practical impact?
Well, the core of it exploits a sort of tricky aspect of how SharePoint handles information behind the scenes. Specifically, how it passes data between the user and the server using something called view state. With tool shell, an attacker can basically extract critical cryptographic stuff like a secret key straight from the server's memory or its config files.
Oof.
Yeah. Once they have that key, they can use a special tool called WISO serial. It's like their custom lock-picking kit to craft perfectly valid but totally malicious commands.
And the server just accepts them.
That's the really scary part. The SharePoint server accepts these malicious commands as if they're legitimate, trusted input, no credentials needed at all.
Wow. Zero authentication.
Zero authentication. And that completes what we call remote code execution, or RCE. It lets the attacker run pretty much any code they want on the server. They effectively get full control.
So keys to the kingdom without even knocking.
Pretty much. It's an elegant attack, but incredibly dangerous. Gives them full persistence, too. They can stay on the system even after reboots.
Given how severe that sounds, who got hit?
Right.
And how quickly did Microsoft manage to respond once it was found being used?
Well, when Microsoft first announced it, they tracked over 75 companies whose servers had already been compromised.
75.
Wow, already?
Yeah, and it was a mix. Government agencies, big corporations. Shows how attractive this kind of thing is to attackers. Now, importantly, the CVE itself was reported to only affect on-premises SharePoint servers.
Okay, so not the cloud version.
Right. If you're using SharePoint Online, part of Microsoft 365, those instances are apparently not impacted, which is, a small bit of relief for cloud users.
Still pretty serious.
Oh, absolutely. And the urgency was really underlined when CISA quickly added it to their KEV list, the Known Exploited Vulnerabilities list. That's basically the U.S. government saying, this is critical, it's being actively used, patch immediately.
Did they have a patch right away?
Initially, no, which always creates that high-stakes scramble for IT teams, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But Microsoft did move fast. Within about a day, they announced mitigations, gave protection guidance, and then ultimately got a full security update published. So a rapid response, given the threat. Okay, so from the deep technical weeds of one specific exploit, let's maybe zoom out a bit. There's this larger strategic thing happening in U.S. cyber circles that's making waves.
Ah, the budget news.
Yeah, the Department of Defense just got a pretty hefty injection of funds, $1 billion over 4 years, specifically earmarked to boost U.S. cyber offensive operations.
Right.
This feels like a major shift. What's going on here, and why is there so much debate, even like concern around it?
Well, the thing is, this new substantial funding for offense comes at the exact same time as some pretty aggressive budget slashing for U.S. defensive cyber operations.
Oh, really? So less money for defense?
Significantly less. We're talking major cuts to CISA's budget. That's the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, the main civilian cyber defense body. Plus employee layoffs there, too.
Huh.
So you've got one part of the government getting this huge boost for offense, while another really critical part, the one protecting civilian infrastructure, is being weakened.
That seems counterintuitive.
Well, yeah, and connecting it to the bigger picture, there's also apparently a real lack of clarity about what these offensive ops will actually involve. And given the sort of gutting on the defensive side, some senators have spoken out pretty loudly. They're concerned this imbalance could actually invite cyber retaliation, not deter it.
So making us more vulnerable by focusing on attack.
That's the worry. It raises that big question. Are we prioritizing offense over defense in a way that might actually create more risk overall for, critical infrastructure, the economy, everything?
It really does sound like a precarious balance, like pouring money into building a stronger battering ram while kind of neglecting the castle walls.
That's a good analogy.
Is there a counter argument, though? I mean, some people always say a strong offense is the best defense, even in cyber. Is that the thinking here?
Yeah, that's a crucial point, and it taps into this long-running debate in national security circles, right? Proponents of strong offense often argue it's about deterrence. The idea that if you show you can hit back hard, adversaries won't attack you in the first place. Okay. It can also be framed as needing the capability for preemptive action against imminent threats, or just for intelligence gathering, disrupt the bad guys before they can hit you.
Right, take them out first.
Exactly. But in cyber, that strategy has unique risks. Attribution is really hard knowing for sure who attacked you. Offensive actions can escalate super quickly, have unintended consequences, maybe create dangerous new norms online.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the concern the senators are raising is whether, in this specific situation, the imbalance is the problem, neglecting the defenses that protect everyday life and critical services while potentially provoking more sophisticated attacks by focusing so heavily on offense. It's tricky.
Definitely tricky.
Sure.
Okay, speaking of cunning strategies and constant evolution, let's pivot back to the cybercrime side. A few deep dives ago, we touched on that ransomware group, Hunters International. They were reportedly shutting down, or maybe more accurately, rebranding.
Ah, yes, the rebranding trend. It's happening a lot.
So what's the latest with them, and what does this tell us about how persistent these threats really are?
You're hitting on a really key trend here. That rebrand, it was leaked late 2024. And they specifically said they were shifting focus away from traditional ransomware, locking up files, towards pure extortion and data theft.
So steal the data, threaten to leak it.
Exactly. So while Hunters International, the name, has technically stopped operating, their rebranded group called WorldLeaks has been anything but quiet.
They're active then.
Oh, yeah. WorldLeaks has actually been operating since January 2025, and they've already hit 49 organizations, according to the reports.
Wow, 49 already.
Yeah, it just clearly demonstrates this crucial and kind of alarming trend. These criminal groups don't just vanish, they adapt. They change their names, partly to avoid law enforcement tracking.
Right.
They diversify how they make money, and they often pop back up, sometimes with a slightly tweaked business model to get around current defenses or exploit, new opportunities. It's just this relentless cat and mouse game.
And didn't they just make headlines with a really high-profile target, Dell?
They did, yeah. Most recently, Dell was their target. WorldLeaks threatened to leak data from Dell's product demonstration platform.
Okay, so what kind of data was that? Was it like core customer stuff?
Well, Dell confirmed pretty quickly to Bleeping Computer that World Leaks did get access to what Dell called a solution center.
A solution center.
Yeah, basically an environment they use to demonstrate products and test out proof of concepts for their commercial customers. Now, Dell was really quick to emphasize that this environment is deliberately kept separate.
Okay.
Separate from actual customer systems, partner systems, Dell's main corporate network. And it's explicitly not used when providing services to customers.
So not the crown jewels, maybe, but still sensitive internal stuff.
Exactly. Not core customer data that puts millions directly at risk, but definitely sensitive internal info about product development demonstrations. And since Dell confirmed the breach, WorldLeaks has gone ahead and added Dell to their official victim list and started sharing some of the stolen data.
So even if it wasn't, immediate customer data, it's still a significant breach. And it really does show that change in how they operate. It sounds like they're still ransoming, still extorting, but it's all about the data now, not necessarily encrypting whole systems.
You've nailed it. That's the crucial shift.
So how do organizations defend against this kind of threat then? It's different.
It really is, and it raises that vital question. Remember, just a few weeks ago, that same group, under its old name, was actually giving away ransomware decryption keys as part of some tactical shift.
Right, I remember that.
This week, with Dell, they're still ransoming, but it's purely about stealing data and extorting based on that theft, whether they encrypt systems or not. So for organizations, and for you listening, it forces you to think differently about defense.
How so?
It's not just about stopping encryption anymore. Now you need really robust defenses against any sensitive data leaking out. Customer info, internal designs, product plans, even demo environments like Dell's. Anything that could be used for extortion.
So more focus on data loss prevention.
Exactly. Data loss prevention, protecting intellectual property, managing the reputational damage, the compliance risks if any data gets compromised. The threat landscape is clearly evolving beyond just traditional ransomware locking things up.
Well, that brings us to the end of another deep dive. It's always fascinating, sometimes a bit alarming, exploring this cybersecurity world.
It never stands still.
No. We unpacked that critical Microsoft zero-day exploiting an already patched flaw, looked at the curious paradox of U.S. cyber funding shifting towards offense, and tracked how ransomware groups are morphing, focusing now just on data theft and extortion.
Yeah, and these insights really just underscore how dynamic cybersecurity is. Whether you're trying to understand the tricky technical details of an exploit chain that bypasses fixes, or the strategic, maybe contradictory implications of government budgets, or just the changing business models of cybercriminals staying informed, it really is your best defense. And it does raise an important question for you to think about. As cyber capabilities get more sophisticated, both offensively and defensively, how might that balance or imbalance impact the global threat landscape in the next few years? Will stronger offense really deter attacks, or could it actually invite more trouble, maybe lead to a less stable digital world for all of us? Something to ponder.
Definitely something to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope you walked away with some valuable insights, maybe a clearer picture of these really complex, interconnected issues.
Hope so.
We'll catch you on the next one.